Hello everybody, this is the Hammond Airsoft Smith. Happy Memorial Day. I hope everyone is healthy and safe during this pandemic, although there are many who tend to forget there's a pandemic going on. Probably just to suit their needs. But moving forward, this is going to be my review on the A&K 1892 gas-operated lever-action rifle. There are a couple different variations of this rifle. There is synthetic stock, wood stock, and then there's the special edition, which is a hotter FPS. It's like 500 and something feet per second, and that also is either synthetic stocks or wooden stocks. This is the wooden stocks. The wood stock is a little bright. That seems to be one of the biggest gripes a lot of people have, and as far as I'm concerned, if that's the only gripe you've got, then you're sitting pretty, because I mean, I found some other little issues after using this thing for a while. I have a little over 700 rounds, 724 rounds to be precise, through it. And before I get into any gripes like pros, cons, I just want to go over the functionality. Simple things such as you got your flip up rear sight here. You got a non-adjustable forward sight on the end there. You'll see it better later on. You got your hammer, which is single action. You're able to use your lever action when the rifle's loaded. Swing the lever all the way down, bring it all the way back up. It will load one in the chamber, and the hammer will be cocked. And if you'd like, you could gently and safely decock the hammer with one round in the chamber, and then cock the hammer when you're ready and fire. Other than that, there's no safety features other than your brain on this rifle. Doesn't have any sling mounts, so I hand made a sling. Well, I made the stock connection and the fore-end connection with some nylon straps sewed and a snap piece from a chain wallet that snaps onto your belt or loop. Anyways, moving on. This is the loading port. This is where you load your ammo, and that's pretty much it. Fore-end stock. It's very simple, and it works very well. It flips, and you can adjust. I have no need so far to adjust it. The range on this is phenomenal. I wonder why people dub it as a quote-unquote sniper rifle. A lot of range, again, a lot of power. It's consistent. Holds a lot of gas. The gas reservoir is within the magazine tube, and at the end of the magazine tube there's a cap. You'll see that again later on, and you're able to twist the cap, pull it out. It's held in with two spring retention pins. Load your propane through there, or gas, whatever. I use propane. It's about 8 seconds or something like that. Not 100% on that. It doesn't need a whole lot, but it's very gas efficient. So, okay. Holds 25 rounds. I put about 10 or 11 as per the real steel, which would be chambered in 357 and 38 special. Okay. The pros, I mean, I don't... everything about the gun is pretty good. I mean, again, I don't have very many complaints that really matter, other than the cons. I had a bad leak issue. I got the gun, it leaked, it did not leak, and then out of nowhere it started leaking, and then I messed around with it, and then the leak went away, and then the leak came back, and it was a hiss leak, a light leak, a heavy leak. It played a lot of quote-unquote airsoft head games with me, and then eventually I stripped it down. And by the way, before you strip it down, make sure it's completely empty of propane, otherwise it will, and I'm not trying to be funny, and I'm not over embellishing, it will blow up. I'm dead serious. Use this, discretion, just be advised, okay? I mean, you just, like any other gas operated thing, make sure all the gas is out of the reservoir before you do any work to it, because there's a lot of connections in here, and there's a seam in here. If that has any gas in it and you start loosening screws, it will blow up in your face. Moving on, I'm pretty sure I got my point across, so you've been warned. So the leak was the worst issue of it, and because of the leak and not having the resources on the internet to diagnose what was going on and how to properly disassemble this gun, I had to do it through trial and error by myself. And unfortunately, I lost the ball bearing, the original ball bearing for the hop rubber that pushes down on the hop to adjust the hop. I lost that, and I replaced it with a bearing that goes to a captive hoop for piercings. Yeah. Want to knock piercings, dude? You can jury rig your gun with it, and guess what? It works just fine. Would I advise it? No. No, I wouldn't advise it, even though I haven't any issues. But, hey, it's up in the air. Again, do it at your own risk. Anyways, the reloading is odd. The reloading is probably... yeah, it's really weird. You can't load it through the door like you normally would with a real one. You have to use this tool, because if you try to just stuff BBs in there, they'll get stuck underneath the elevation device that's in here that loads the BB up into the chamber. There's an elevation thing in there that's lever activated. So you have to insert this like so, and then you have to make sure that stays in there tight, and then use this rod to push the BBs into the magazine tube where they actually go. It's really uncomfortable, but, you know, it's not the end of the world. It's not the biggest deal. In disassembling, going back to disassembling, was also kind of odd. This whole front end, when you disassemble it, comes apart in like 4 different pieces, and it can be really tricky-dicky if you're not familiar. Take it from me. Let's see. Well, I think it's time for us to load her up and get to shooting. It's a very cool gun, a little on the expensive side, but it's worth it. It's very sturdy, it's robust, there's hardly any rattle. Oh, one other little issue I wanted to point out is that over time, this pin, there's a pin here, can't really see it, but there's a pin that locks up inside the lower receiver just forward of the trigger there. That got kind of loose, I guess it got worn, so sometimes the lever kind of just pops out of place if my hand is just not there. Nothing was done to this gun other than, except of course, like I mentioned, I mean, I just made like little sling attachments out of nylon, and I added some leather here on the loop itself. All right. We got about 10 or 11 in here. I'm using Elite Force 25.Gs. One thing I cannot stress enough is whatever you do, don't do any of this, hey bird, don't do any of this Hollywood stuff, okay? Because it's not right for the gun. Like a lot of people, they want to do the Terminator, as people dubbed it, where you flip the gun one-handed with the loop. I wouldn't advise that, not even for the real one. This isn't just an airsoft thing. You shouldn't even do that with the real one. It's just a cool factor. There's no need for it. You're just beating on the gun unnecessarily. There's just no point. Same thing with a pump shotgun and pumping it with one hand, like using the weight of the inertia to rack the pump. No. So don't do any of that. I mean, if you want, that's your money, that's your time. Now that we're looking at it like this, it is loaded, but as you can see, there's nothing in the chamber. The hammer is down as well. There's your foresight, and there is the plug that you turn and pull out, and then there's a valve in there. Fill that, put your lubricant, whatever you do. I put lubricant in my propane adapter, and I use that. With propane, it tends to shoot a bit hotter because propane is a little more resilient to the cold or whatever, and it's just a dirtier oil, so you got to clean it more, or not oil, sorry, propellant. But that's what I like. It's cheaper. I don't need green gas. And I don't care about red gas. But anyways, and you're able to actually tell if there are any BBs in the gun if you turn the gun like so and you open the gate. Looks like there aren't any in there. I didn't think I shot 11 already. But nope. And there's an elevation in here. You'll see it. It elevates and pushes the BB up. We'll decock it. We'll load a few more in there. It's a great gun, man. It really is. I mean, it had better be, but like I said, main gripes. If it wasn't for the awkward reloading. I mean, if it wasn't for the leak, my only main gripe would just be the reloading. See the BB there. Loads up. You can decock it, like I said, safely. There's also a saddle ring, which I wouldn't advise using because it is kind of loose. I used it for a while to kind of just see, and it seemed okay, but I don't know. I'm not that comfortable about it. And it's empty. As far as internals, going back to internals and disassembly, the receiver is easy as pie. It really is compared to the fore end. It's actually pretty realistic in here for the most part compared to the real one. Obviously things are going to be different because it is Airsoft. But this thing was definitely loved at first. So satisfying to hear that. Originally, the 1892s, developed by John Moses Browning, distributed by Winchester, they had an octagonal barrel. And some of them were fitted, which you could still do. You could probably do it to the Airsoft one as well. There is a rear sight that goes back on this tang here, and it flips up. It's a peep sight. Unfortunately, you can't really put nothing on top of here because of the bolt coming back. If it was more like a Marlin design, you could do that for sure. Because all this is closed, the bolt just comes out the rear. It's slightly different. And there is that little thingy-do that I was talking about. Sometimes, oh, it ain't gonna do it? Or is it? Oh, there you go, see? But as long as my hand is there, it never really does that. Most of the time your hand is going to be there, but just so long as you got your finger out of the trigger guard. Awesome buy, it really is. There isn't really too much that I would do to this. I kind of like it the way it is. I might again get that Tang peep sight and maybe get a better sling setup for it, something a little more comfortable. But other than that, it's pretty awesome. If you like lever actions, you like gas operated airsoft guns, you like something that's quiet, you know, this is the way to go. Alright everybody, thanks a lot for watching. This is the Hammered Airsoft Smith, and you know, everyone be careful, right? You know, just be respectful, be cool with each other, because it's not just you, or it's not just me, or it's not just, you know, Bo Diddley or whoever the hell that's going through this. We're all going through it. Alright, thank you again. Happy Memorial Day again, and take care.